The album, Debbie Harry is the artist we have here in our West Coast studios. Chris Stein and Debbie Harry, nice to have you back here in Vancouver. When did you start working on this album? How far back?
2 summers ago we started.
Writing almost 3.5 years ago.
Almost 3.5 years?
Yeah.
Were some of the songs that you wrote 3.5 years ago turfed out and others replaced?
It
No,
is
that's
true.
not
I
true.
started writing it before we moved. Before I moved.
That's true.
Yeah. He's not lying.
So some of the tunes, in fact, are 3.5 years old.
Yeah.
Well, one's like two are like 10 years old. So one is like 7 years old, and the other one's almost 9 years old.
Okay. These are like things that you've had around. Like
Dredged up, re-dredged, yeah.
So the tunes that you sort of dug out of the attic, you had to polish them up, right? You had to rework them, maybe change the lyrics?
The one, oddly enough, was for that Canadian cartoon.
Yeah, tell us about
The
that.
soundtrack for a Canadian cartoon feature that was called Rock and Rule.
Yeah.
And it was done in
I don't know what city it came out of.
Toronto?
I think it was a big tax write-off, all in all. Yeah, because it never got any major release. It just got on HBO. It was about as far as it ever got.
I think that song's a good piece of music, a good song. It doesn't matter when you write it. It just matters about how good it is. And we all know that to be true because there's great songs that come to us from all different periods.
I remember you guys came through here a couple of years ago, a number of years ago, and it was at the time when you had buttons and advanced T-shirts that said Blondie is a band because Debbie was getting all of the press and you were trying to draw attention to the fact that you were a band. Well, on this particular album that you just released, although it's a solo release, you don't deny the past. There's Blondie all over the thing, and still there's music for the late 80s, early 90s.
Well, that's what we tried to do. We really wanted to have a record that was sort of ethical for us and made a statement about who we were and what we had done together, and also with Mike Chapman. And we also wanted to move on and to, indicate that there was a future for us and as collaborators and as writers and as individual, artists, that this is what we were looking at. And we wanted to make the record accessible and identifiable, and I think we really did all that stuff.
You're both big fans of music, but did you watch the music industry and how it grew or regressed in the years that you were off this merry-go-round?
Yeah, the kind of music we're fans of is not the mainstream stuff. I've been getting into more opera lately, and opera,
Yeah, oh yeah.
ethnic music and stuff. I don't know what she listens to. I don't know. I don't listen to radio stuff. No, yeah, we watch Guns N' Roses and all this stuff. I see it all, Madonna and everything, so it's okay. The business certainly is changing minute by minute. It's very strange.
One of the reasons why I'm really pleased to be talking to you guys is because you were at the very forefront of the video revolution. You've had a chance to sort of watch what you set in motion, but there's so many new toys to play with now. You can have so much fun with it.
I wish that, in a way, I sort of wish that Blondie had been around when, all this technology existed, because we were so ready for it. We were such a sort of a high-tech pop band anyway, that had we really been equipped with really modern equipment, I think we could have taken it a little bit further. As it was, we were just on the edge of it. We were just a little bit before. We made all of our records before MIDI, so all of that stuff was done very painfully, manually done, and that is really to Chapman's credit because it's very precise. Those records are very precise.
Yeah, Heart of Glass is done. MIDI is, Heart of Glass is done without any, way before all of that stuff. It was all done manually, just rhythm machines. It was difficult,
Our videos were all done, well, I would say cheaply, but compared to today's budgets, they were...
Oh, sure, that whole album's cost, that whole Eat to the Beat album probably cost, what, a half of one of these video costs,
the whole album.
The 80s, we just come to the close of the 80s into the 90s. What was the 80s like for you musically as a decade? Will we remember it years from now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm not really the right one to ask. I don't know if Chris is either.
No, we have different opinions. To me, it's the decade that the music business learned to sell anything that they could get their hands on.
Marketing.
Yeah. It's they finally got their act so honed that they could, you could do on a plate and they could sell it,
And have.
Right.
Woodstock. Did you
that got a
your
little
stomach turn?
We were both at Woodstock, not together, and I saw Jimi Hendrix in the mud and the whole deal. It was a lot of fun. I think it should be an ongoing event. No, the acid house things in England, you know,
Yeah, those
relate
are
a little,
really
even though they're not
exciting.
live bands. Maybe the next thing, I mean, that's real revolutionary. You know how that works over there, where there's the phone number and all that thing?
Yeah, yeah.
That's great, you know, that's great. It's, you know, 50,000 people out there and the cops looking for them, you know, and with the helicopters and stuff. It's awesome, you know.
wild.
So maybe those will be going to live bands eventually. But at the moment, it's just all recorded stuff.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about and sort of recognize was the fact that one of the very first rap records I ever heard came courtesy of Blondie. Who knew that was going to grow the way it did?
We saw the first stuff in 1975 in the Police Athletic League in the Bronx, and we were the only white people there, and it was sort of, you know, I don't know how dangerous it was. We were nervous to put, you know,
I
a little.
never really doubted that it was going to, you know, disappear. I
But
think
everybody said it's
so much
never going to
excitement.
happen.
Yeah.
So many people said it's never going to happen. It's
everybody
never going to happen,
rejected
you know.
it. You know, they said, oh, this is nothing, you know, poo, it's going to disappear.
And now it's on McDonald's commercial.
It's everywhere. It's total.
Yeah.
It is, in fact, a major, major force.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good because it's really,
It's it.
Yeah.
It's got it. It's the right stuff.
well, it came up, you know, it went around the system, came in the back door.
Are you happy? I call the business that we're in the merry-go-round, which is the way it's almost like a roller coaster. Are you happy to be back on this fast track?
Call it what you will. Yes.
Yeah,
Happy to be
yeah.
working.
No matter what a pain in the ass it is, we still would not want to have not done it and then wondered what would have happened if we had, you know, had been sitting around and not doing it. I would never want to say, well, gee, maybe I should have done it, so it's better to go out and do it.
Did you guys, Debbie, you in particular, did you prepare yourself for the eventuality of a rejection that the listening audience was not ready to hear you guys come back again?
Well, rejection is always a drag. I mean, how can you prepare for rejection? I think what you prepare for is to, you know, do what you feel is the right thing for you, and then, you know, somebody has to go around and sell it. So I'm not involved in sales that much. I was sort of surprised that I met with some resistance, but, you know.
So a lot of the concerts we're getting like this, we're getting these young kids doing these Beatles screams, which I've never heard before. They don't do that in England, and I never heard it before. You know, doing the screaming at the Beatles, because Debbie has reached this legendary status. So there's these young kids there who only know her as legend, and you know, and they scream, they do that thing, you know, like that, which has really been surprising me the last few shows, actually.
Tell me about your audiences on this tour. Who's coming to see you? Who's standing in front of you?
Nick,
Seems to be a mixture of old and new.
yeah.
You know, people that we've seen before, a lot of friends, a lot of fans, and you know, kids that are into music. I mean, I can't really predict what it is yet. It seems a little bit premature. And we're just really starting at a real solid ground level. You know, trying to build it back up.
It's strange for us because everything, you know, everything is so specialized, and we've always been very eclectic. We do lots of different styles. So like last night, there was in the front row, there's like these punk kids. So every time we do a punkish song, they'd all be going crazy, and then when we do like a pop thing, they'll be sitting there like bored, you know. So everything is so specialized, you know. I guess you have little pockets of the audience now liking different things. Yeah. We always have done every kind of music in the sets and on the records, so it's weird.
Yeah, it's sort of strange.
Chris, how's your health? You were not a healthy guy for a while.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. Yes.
It's a grueling thing to come out here and do this again.
Well, just my age has more to do with it than health at this point, you know. I could feel, that's why I feel for Bill and Charlie, but you know.
We're really happy to have you back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.